Mashable calls 2016 the dawn of the drone age. Federal agencies, private companies, and hobbyists will fill U.S. skies with hundreds of thousands of unmanned aerial systems. Drones have great potential. They will also have a significant impact on privacy, security, and regulation. The Department of Homeland Security is trying to wrap their arms around some of these issues to secure our border with Mexico. But they're running into spoofing risks from the drug cartels. Joining me with the latest is Patrick Tucker, technology editor for Defense One. Patrick, before we dig in here, give us a quick definition of spoofing. What does it mean and how does it work?
Well, any device that uses a GPS signal is doing the same thing, whether it's your phone, whether it's the GPS in a drone, or whether it's GPS in your car. They're receiving signals related to location from a constellation of satellites. Now, spoofing is where some third party gets in the way of that signal exchange, where the signals are coming down from space. So the third party gets in the way, intercepts that signal, and feeds wrong information to the device, to the GPS device. What that allows to happen is a drone can think that it's one place when it's actually another place. It can crash, it can be stolen, and this is what DHS thinks is a big problem with a lot of the different drones that law enforcement types are using on the border.
Top technology officials at CBP, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency, are concerned about spoofing by drug cartels. Outline the problem here.
So right now, there are a lot of different drones that are looking over the U.S. border. The DHS has about 9 drones that are actively in the air. These are MQ-9 Reaper drones. They're big sort of military drones. But there's also a lot of law enforcement agencies that are using smaller drones that they've acquired through DHS grants. Now,
these are the big ones we're looking at here, obviously, but they're also using small ones that some consumers and the movie producers would be using.
Right, exactly. So if you've got only 9 of these really big drones and you've got a lot of area to cover, you need to get a lot of different types of drones in the air. Now, these smaller ones aren't as secure. So what they've observed, what many manufacturers have observed, are attempts by drug cartels to move these systems where they're not supposed to be, to spoof the signal. And this is what one of the heads of science and technology at DHS says, that this is what they've been hearing, and this is what they're looking for, and this is what they really want to begin to innovate against.
Now, the military knows this is a problem, but the manufacturers of the smaller drones know this is an issue.
Well, it's impossible to ignore all the literature that has come out showing how vulnerable unencrypted signaling is on some of these drones. For instance, one of the most popular drones that's out there, it's the same type that crashed into the White House lawn. This is a drone that as a lot of people have pointed out in active testing, is very easy to spoof. Now, this sort of testing is illegal in the United States. You can't actually spoof drones in the U.S., but the DJI Phantom, it comes from China, and some Chinese researchers have shown it's very easy to take that drone, send it a bad signal, send it somewhere that it's not supposed to be. And that's true with any drone that uses GPS on an unencrypted channel.
Yeah, it's not good for DJI. They're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, drone manufacturer. Let's talk about funding for the drone purchasing program. You find DHS was vastly understating its costs. Why is that?
Well, this comes from an audit that DHS conducted on itself last year. So basically, they were buying these very large military drones and underestimating how much it costs to actually run these guys. These are these huge General Atomics military-grade Reaper drones, and when you purchase one of these, you're not just buying the platform itself, the drone itself. You also have to have a ground control unit, and you also have to have staff, and that's actually a lot of staff to run one of these. So basically, from 2005 to last year, what DHS found is that it had spent on the order of $360 million on just these very few drones. So what that prompted is this move towards these smaller drones. But here's the problem. Many of these smaller drones, they don't have anti-jamming equipment, and they're not working on encrypted channels. So the sweet spot is finding something in the middle. It's smaller and cheaper than these big military drones, but it's also more secure.
Let's talk more about that, Patrick. The agency wants to improve the way that it uses drones. They launched a project called RAPS, or Robotic Aircraft for Public Safety. How will it work?
Well, this is the second iteration of the RAPS project, and kicks off in Kansas on January 11th. What they're going to do is they're going to bring, DHS is going to bring a lot of different manufacturers to Kansas. They're going to take a look at a lot of different types of platforms, and they're going to test them in a variety of different conditions. And the hope is to find new types of drones that can stand up to this and the different types of challenges that there are, because you know, however you feel about it, drones on the border, they're definitely not going away. There's a huge area to secure. You can't do it just with these big military drones at today's price point, because they're very expensive. So you need to get these drones up there, but we're not the only people that realize that. Drug smugglers are beginning to realize that too, and if researchers in China and all around the world can hack these systems and show how vulnerable they are, then you know, it's not just the government that's paying attention, so are the bad guys.
A fascinating new wrinkle on the drone issue. Patrick Tucker, technology editor for Defense One. Thanks, Patrick.
Yes.